The clatter of hooves announced the stallion's approach to the quiet glade, and the mare, startled, turned to see who would dare intrude, when a familiar scent carried by a gentle breeze came to her. She relaxed. She knew the intruder. In the Vedic times, when we were largely an agrarian society, our gods were the gods of nature, life-giving elements and life-threatening ones. They were both worshipped, and of these, Surya, the sun, the center of the Navagraha, was paramount. Come with me today to a story found originally in the Rig Veda and later in various forms in the Mahabharata, the Harivamsha, and the Markandeya Purana, several other texts. A story, a sprinkling of magic. Namaskaram. Welcome to Stories and Magic with me, Mahita. I will not go back with you. Surya was shocked at Sharanyu's firm declaration. Do you not have any love for me, Sharanyu? Do you not want a life with me in our home? The two divine beings had shed their equine forms and were now with each other in a shape familiar to both. It is not about want, my lord, Sharanyu answered. I cannot return. The sun god was not used to being rejected, and this was a woman he loved from the moment he set eyes on her. Her rejection, which hurt more than anyone else's would have, filled him with rage, and he blazed with a fire so strong it melted snows on the highest peaks of the distant Himalayas and turned the unending green of the Kuru forest where they now rested into ash. But this time, Sharanyu did not flinch or tremble in fear. Her time away from her fierce husband, away from her father who believed her place was in her husband's home, her time away, alone in reflection and tapasya, had made her strong. She smiled. So quick to anger, my lord, against the one you claim to love more than life itself? It is this, your anger, your refusal to take no, your brilliance even when you're at your brightest, that I cannot endure. Surya took a deep breath and his rays dimmed slightly. It is my nature, Sharanyu. I cannot change. And you were aware of that when you went to your father, saying I was your chosen partner. Yes, I fell in love with a beautiful being I thought I knew. As you fell in love with me, the girl whose beauty caught your eye. We did not really know each other then, did we? And even so, should we be bound by our decisions when they cause anger and fear instead of serving our happiness or adding meaning to our existence? This, Sharanyu, happiness, meaning, this is your reason for keeping a Savarna in your place, leaving home without a word, for deceiving me into thinking she was you, for taking on the form of a horse and abandoning the worlds of man and God. You are a mother, Sharanyu, and this is your reason for abandoning your children? Sharanyu's eyes grew wide, my lord. You felt slighted that I turned away from your fire and trembled in the face of your anger. You chose not to consider your actions and not even to question me, but instead to curse our yet to be born children. You talk to me of duties? Children are born of a mother, my lord, and a father, both of whom have obligations, and yet you place that burden of good parenthood solely on my shoulders. And it is our children always, isn't it? Our blameless children who fall into the traps laid by their parents' disagreements. Look around you. The banks of rivers break, unable to bear the weight of waters from snows melted with the heat of your Ugra Rupa. See how the forests around us have withered. Look at me, my skin burnt to the color of the darkest night, my body and mind sapped of all energy. See, how you are yet to learn to control your force and fire. In this destruction, see how your life-giving force has also the power to devastate. Even Amrit, my Lord, in quantities greater than desired, is halahala. My shadow Chaya, who I have left behind in my place, does not fear you. Let her be the companion who will not rouse your anger. Let her be the mother our children need. And saying so, Sharanyu bowed, assumed once more the form of a horse, and walked away, leaving the sun god feeling as if his brilliance was shadowed by 1,000 unending nights. Vishwakarma was the architect of the three worlds. He was also the father of Sharanyu. He looked at Surya, bright, beautiful, unimaginably brilliant, seated in front of him. I warned her, he said, I warned her that you were a force not entirely in control, that your heat and your radiance would at times be too fierce. But she loved you, and she truly believed she could adapt. The heart wants what it wants. Surya was lost in thought for a while, and then finally he said, I want her back. If it is the heat of my passions that has caused this rift, help me shed it. I can't take my words back, but I can make amends to my children, to Sharanyu. But your fire is your nature, Bhaskara. Yes, and I know you will not do it harm. And so Vishwakarma, for whom no task was impossible, chipped away at the rays of the sun god, reducing it by 1/8, to the point where he was still fire, but also a force that could nurture life, thus fulfilling his true purpose. And with the chips of the sun god's rays were created magnificent objects, Kubera's Pushpaka Vimana, Vishnu's Chakra, Sudarshana, Shiva's Trishula, Mahita, and Kartikeya's veil. This, as you might have guessed, happened a long time ago, in a time before history, before man knew how to grow food and satisfy his hunger. And Surya now, not just marker of time, but also sustainer of life on earth, drew up the waters of the oceans into the skies where Chandra, the moon, turned them into dark clouds, and these clouds fell in showers upon the earth again as life-giving rain. Seeds sprouted, and man learnt the art of cultivation. Today, Surya is still remembered for his benevolence and worshipped at the time of harvest, where the first crop is an offering of gratitude to him. May the sun always shine upon us. May our fields always be fertile and have an abundant crop. May our tables always have enough food to share.